Hello, welcome to another drive-in double feature. I'm Ryan,
I'm Nathan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before I get into anything, we have a Patreon over at patreon.com/slash drive-in double feature podcast. Just some free content because there is one free episode over there.
There is one if you want to check it out.
Just to whet your appetite,
Mhm.
I felt wrong even just giving that away for free. I'm like, we're giving one gold episode away for free. Well, that's how much we want you to go over to our Patreon to check out what we're giving away over there for only $5 a month. And let me just tell you, it's top tier.
I think so.
I think so. So go on over and check it out. But don't worry, it doesn't affect any regular content over here. But today we're going to talk about 1976 eaten alive question mark.
Hey,
Yes,
what the
two
hell did you
movies.
pick this movie again? What?
I Yeah, I figured we would talk about it again.
Oh, okay.
And so anyway, this is a tribe of cannibals. No, I'm kidding. This is directed by Tobe Hooper, and like I said, this movie is also called Eaten Alive, but this is a very different movie. This one is an American made movie. It is set in the deep South. And hey, instead of cannibals, don't worry, this is nice and wholesome. It's just a killer crocodile.
A simple creature feature.
Yeah, nothing to worry about here. That's what I said.
Yeah. That's what I said the whole time.
Yeah. And this is, like I said, this is Tobe Hooper. So this is right after Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mhm.
This is again a very low budget horror movie. I mean, I think there's only like three locations in this whole movie.
Yeah,
So
and it
it
all looks like a set too. So
yeah, I mean, this movie has a weird atmosphere to it because they filmed this movie on a soundstage. If you couldn't tell by watching it, was
Mhm.
because found a soundstage which actually had like a giant sized swimming pool, which they used for the crocodile in this movie, and they make it very clear that it's a crocodile, not an alligator.
It's a crocodile.
This is not this is not your average alligator movie. I mean, don't. I mean, if it was an alligator, I'd be like, whoa, I'd be really scared. But since it's crocodile, my
Wait,
heart rate went down.
you think crocodiles are less scary? You really?
Alligator,
The
alligators,
crocodiles are faster.
how
Okay.
fast?
I don't know, but the main guy in this was like he said crocodiles are faster on land and in water.
Oh, I think I could beat it in a race.
Okay, let's set this up. Let's go to the they got gator land, they got crocodile land, croc land.
Yeah, I mean, it got to be on land though. Swimming is cheating.
I think so. You know what? Yeah, I agree because you'd beat them no matter what in
Yeah,
the water.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
But anyway, no, this movie has a very weird atmosphere to it. Like I said, it like even like the sets like it looks very dreamlike the whole movie,
Hmm.
and every character in this movie there's like a there's a lot of characters in this movie that are very erratic and don't act like
Yes.
real people.
Yeah. It's a very
And
exaggerated movie in every way.
um, how the movie opens is we don't really know the plot of the movie at first, and they kind of do the psycho Janet Leigh thing. We think this
Hmm.
girl at the beginning is going to be our main character, which is the girl Clara, I believe,
Yeah.
and she is she is a prostitute, and she meets a very familiar face in the beginning of this movie.
Hmm.
And at first I was like I didn't recognize right away. Did you recognize right away that was Robert England?
Yes, yeah. It was. I saw him. Robert England has a very distinctive nose, I guess. And I was like, yeah, I know who that guy is.
I I knew who that I didn't I knew
I
that face.
Yeah,
I was like, who is that? I know this person. And
yeah.
then like
And then
when
you
he
were like,
started talking, I was like, ah, okay.
yeah, you were like, oh yeah, that new season of Stranger Things. That's right. Oh yeah, that guy.
Oh, I didn't watch the new season. I guess Robert England's in the new season of Stranger Things. I was
No,
thinking, I
no,
was
I was
thinking,
making an absurd joke.
I was thinking of like, the Call of Duty zombie mode or whatever. Like the
He's in Call of Duty Zombies.
isn't isn't there like that one like zombie mode where it's like a bunch of horror icon characters, like they're killing George Romero or something?
I don't know. I never really played zombies.
Okay, well then forget I just said all that. But anyway,
look, look at us. Look at us. You know, how about this? Freddy Krueger. It's Freddy Krueger.
just say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember him. I
Mm-hmm.
remember Freddy Krueger
Yes. Yeah.
from Freddy versus Jason.
Exactly. But he has a southern accent.
He does, and
Mhm.
he says the very memorable line at the beginning of the movie. He's like, "My name's Buck, and I'm here to bleep this part, and I'm here to fuck."
Yep.
And it's like,
Tarantino's a
uh,
hack.
oh, well, I thought they took it from Tarantino.
Yeah. Okay. You got your time light right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
I like he like maybe like 5-year-old Tarantino was like maybe a script supervisor for this movie or something, and
He
like
probably was. That man loved movies. I wouldn't, he loves every 70s movie. He just was script supervisor on every 70s movie he could do.
yeah,
Mhm.
he's like I think this line would really work. And he's and so
Uh-huh.
Kill Bill, it was like a callback. But anyway, yeah,
Hmm.
obviously he took that line from this movie, and I mean, it's very
Hmm.
obvious. And anyway, Robert Englund's Buck character gets a little too handsy. He wants to do something that
She
not
doesn't want to
one
do.
she does not want to do. She's not having it, and
Hmm.
she gets immediately fired from being a prostitute. So
Hmm.
she's hit a whole new low at this point. She's not
Yeah,
good enough
imagine
to.
getting fired from being a prostitute because, yeah, she gets kicked out.
And when they show like the madam of this house,
Hmm.
um, she looks like a corpse herself. Like her
Yeah.
skin's all grayed and she's all wrinkly, and I'm like, I said, that's got to be somebody. And I googled it, and it's the original Morticia Adams from the Adams
Oh,
Family.
wow. I didn't even realize that. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, so
Interesting. That makes sense. That seems like such a Tobe Hooper thing because they put like the nastiest, grayest skin on her. It reminded me of the grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
oh yeah, everyone in this movie, besides some of the women, they all look really disgusting.
Yes, yeah. And I think that's like what he's going for. It's a very uncomfortable movie.
Yeah, and this movie is, like I said, set in the deep south during the summer, so everyone's really hot and sweaty all the time,
Hmm.
and haven't looked like they've taken a shower in a couple of days.
Yeah, and it looks like this hotel does not have, because we'll get into the hotel part of this movie, but it doesn't look like there's air conditioning in this place.
No, air conditioning wasn't invented in the 70s.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
But no, she gets fired, and so this is getting into spoilers a little bit here, but there I forget who it is, but it's like this woman. Her name's Ruby. She gives her like, hey, there's a hotel down the road. Like, here's a little bit of money. Like,
Hmm.
here, just stay the night. It's going to be okay. And I thought like it was going to be like revealed like she was working for this guy or something, like
I could
the
see that.
evil
Yeah.
hotel. Because I'm like, apparently it's a known fact that this guy is a freak. Like, they've said multiple times
Yeah.
like how freaky this guy is, and like
They make
he's a
fun of him.
total he's a total perv. Like, he's gone to the brothel many times, and they've said like they had to kick him out because he was just being too odd, and like doing like the freaking out the girls whenever he'd go there. So
Hmm.
it's a known fact that this guy is like a total weirdo, and this woman's just like, yeah, good, go stay at the hotel, yeah, no problem. But I guess it's the only hotel in this town, because even like, because it's revealed that Clara, her rich father and sister, like come to try to find her, and it's like, oh well, we're gonna just have they just happen to stay at the same hotel.
Yeah, no. And I think, and it's not just them, but like other people show up to this place to stay. So I really think it's just like there, like that's the only place they could stay at.
Yeah, and anyway, I'm dropping way ahead here. Anyway, she goes to the hotel, and of course it's like this weird creepy guy is there,
Mm-hmm.
and he finds out that she was working at the brothel, and he tries to assault her,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't get her away, so he throws her into the little lake out there, little pond with the crocodile in there, and she gets mauled to death.
Yep, she gets eaten by the fake crocodile.
No, it was real.
It was real.
She
Wow.
really got eaten.
Oh wow, this is worse than the other movie. But no, yeah, I love the effects of it in the water, like going around. And the lighting here is nuts. Like from here and like moving on for a little bit in the movie with like just the wait, are the red lights there when she's there, or does that not come in until the family comes in?
I
Because
want to say it's the family comes in, because I want to say it was like pitch black when she showed up.
that's right, yeah. At some point, the lighting becomes so over exaggerated, and it just becomes drenched in like this red light. It is actually really cool. I actually liked it because it gives it like this weird style.
Yeah, I like the style too. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, she gets murdered, and then the movie really doesn't slow down. Like, it does have some slow parts, I will
Yeah.
say, but
Mhm.
at this point it's not. It's still going pretty full pace, I would say. And I mean, because this other family shows up, it's like husband and wife and their little girl that
Mhm.
show up, and they have a dog with them, and when they seem pretty normal at first. It seems like this family is like
Yeah.
pretty picturesque, just like perfect family. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm here with my wife and child. But then the little girl's kind of wandering around, and I wasn't sure, like, did they explain it? Like, all of a sudden, like, he has a monkey, and then like the monkey just dies, and it's just like,
No, I don't know what was up with that. Yeah, because the monkey, you see it earlier, it's alive, and then yeah, it's just dead in its cage. Another dead monkey.
yeah, I'm assuming this monkey
That
wasn't actually dead. They
I
didn't kill this
yes,
monkey.
yeah. You don't see it's just laying down. They probably gave
Yeah,
it like what we've talked about it before. The drugs they give animals like in movies to kind of make them like, or it could have just been fake too.
it was just full of bananas and got tired.
Yeah, it's just a sleepy little guy. But no, I think it only served the point of being distracted so the dog could get away. The
Yeah,
Snoopy, I think was its name.
yeah. How do you think Charles Schultz felt about that?
I don't know, because it is kind of messed up because it wasn't a beagle. So I mean, that's
Yeah,
already like, why would you
yeah.
do that?
Well, it took me out of it. I was like, this is a movie. Nobody would call a non-beagle Snoopy.
That would never happen. No, no, nobody's done that before.
Never. But
No.
anyway, they do, the dog does get eaten, and you do see the dog getting eaten by the crocodile. And
Yeah.
I was immediately like, I texted Nathan. I'm just like, oh no,
You
like,
said it's gonna
I
be a
just
bad week.
yeah. And but luckily that's like, I mean, it is obvious, that part is obvious. It's obviously a fake crocodile with a
Yeah,
dog,
yeah.
so it's
It's
like
yeah.
it's obviously fake. So that it's forgivable. It's forgivable.
Exactly. The only thing is the dog just looks scared. The dog legitimately looks scared, but otherwise I don't think it looked like it got hurt or
Well,
anything.
that's what I was gonna say. That's the part that bothered me a little bit. It was like it does look like a real dog in the water, and it does look like
Yes.
it's like a fake crocodile head is biting down on it, and it does look like it's freaking out. So
Yeah.
that's it. But I don't think Tobe Hooper killed a dog for
No,
this movie. So
that's the thing. It's almost like this pairing makes this one like better
I,
in terms, right?
yeah, well, I mean, like, normally this scene would be really, I was like, ugh, like, I'd really hate this scene, but like comparatively to like the other movie, it's like, you know what, this is not so bad. It's like,
Yeah. Oh wow, this is yeah. So if anything, it gives this movie a little more points. Like, wow, they didn't hurt an animal.
they,
Wow, great job, kudos.
yeah, they didn't fall to the lowest denominator. It's like perfect,
Mhm.
um, but no. But after that happens, this family just totally falls apart. Like, like I said, you think like they're like a totally normal family and they love each
Mhm.
other, but it's like they absolutely just fall apart. Like, this girl is just
Mhm.
sobbing uncontrollably and screaming, like because she just saw her dog get murdered,
Mhm.
and then like the mother and the father are just arguing, and like the dad character is just so
Oh my God.
bizarre. Like
Just like hamming it up, going over the top, like just laughing, taking off his glasses. That you're right. That was like the biggest character transformation because I would have never thought that from first seeing this guy. He looked like some like just swirly, nerdy type, but no, he's like a lunatic.
yeah, and he's like, "What do you want me to do, Faye?" Like he just starts barking, like,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Well, what are you gonna do about this, Roy? Like, you're just gonna let him. You need to go take care of this, Roy." And just so this guy gets this idea. He's like, "I'm gonna go take care of it then," and just he goes out and gets a shotgun from his
Mhm.
car, and uh, the main villain of the movie, Judd. That's the
Mhm.
freaky guy, the hotel owner. It's just like,
Mhm.
no, no, Mister, you don't need to do that. That's just nature. That's what happens. And he's like, if you, I'm going to take care of this animal. You need to step out of my way.
Yeah, and he gets like a shotgun and he's loading it up. And of course, Judd is freaking out about it. And that's when he gets like his killer weapon. He's kind of like a movie slasher in a way because he has a scythe. And like, I guess his sidekick is a crocodile.
Yeah, I mean that's the murder weapon for this movie is like
Yeah.
this is a scythe throughout the whole movie.
Hmm. Yeah. And he slashes him and then he gets thrown in with the croc, right?
Yeah, he gets thrown in there. He
Yeah.
gets eaten by the
Well,
croc.
see, that this is where the movie changes a little bit too, because at first I think it's like almost like a defense thing or something like this guy is crazy, but he's just kind of maybe misunderstood a little, like he feels like people are attacking him or attacking his property. But then he's like he takes another step and he's like, you know what? Now I'm going to kidnap his wife and I'm going to tie her up. That's my next game plan. So it's not like killer by circumstance. He's actually just really messed up.
Well, I was wondering what the plan was. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because he at first, I think he's going to, assault her in some way and just
Mm-hmm.
like sexually assault her, but then he just kind of starts tying her up and wrapping her in the shower curtain,
Mm-hmm.
and and I didn't know what was going to happen from there, and apparently he didn't either because once the little girl sees her mother getting tied up, she just runs off screaming. I think her name was Matilda.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and shout out to her. She's the main little girl, and that Jamie Lee Curtis, Oscar winner Jamie Lee Curtis, is babysitting in Halloween.
No way.
Yeah,
That's cool. What a connection.
so she's in this movie, and her main role is scream. I'm sure she's like, just scream every time you're on screen. You're gonna scream.
Yeah, it gets a little annoying. And I like her setup because she's trapped under like the not the attic. What do you
The
call
crawl
that?
space.
The crawl space under the house. And the crocodile can just barely not get her. And then the Judd tries to get her and she's running around. I like it, but you're right. She just screams the whole time. She's on screen. And like, even when she's off screen, you hear the screaming.
Well, it's funny too because she's like she sees Judd, she screams, she runs, she screams, she sees the crocodile, she screams,
Mhm.
she sees a rat, she screams like ah.
Her
Just like
throat's got to hurt by the end of this movie.
I like I just thought it was funny. I mean, I know she's like a
Little
little
girl,
little
yeah.
kid from this movie, but it's like she sees a rat and she's like ah, like that's the scariest thing like in this whole situation right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God, worse than the crocodile or the mom upstairs being tied up.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's what happens to the mom. She gets tied up to a bed, and that's where she is pretty much the whole movie.
exactly, yeah, because the movie kind of shifts to it's funny, both movies had a crocodile, and then both movies are about a sister searching for their missing sister. Because they're looking for the woman from the beginning of the movie, and it's her sister and her father, and they go to the hotel and they already know something's up because this guy is very like dodgy. Judd is like, I don't know, I mean maybe I saw her for a little bit, blah 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 blah, and But the daughter is like way too understanding. She's like, no, it's okay, I understand. He's just really uptight because the father gets angry about it.
Well, I mean, yeah, like the sister is totally nonchalant about some of these
Mm-hmm.
things because they go to the brothel too, because they're like, hey, she might have been working over there.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the madam, like that we saw earlier in the movie, and they're like, hey, have you seen my sister? Was she working here? And she's like, nope, haven't seen her before. And she's like, okay, well, come on, dad, let's go. Like,
Yeah, they just get out of there.
you're not gonna press her or anything. Like,
Yeah,
did
exactly. She's too trusting.
I don't know. I just thought it was funny, like what her name was. She's like, "What's your name?" Oh, it's Libby Wood.
Yeah, I like that. Libby Wood. What a name. Um, but yeah, I mean this is, you said the movie slowed down. I think the movie slows down when it really goes into them outside of the hotel. Like there's that whole sequence in the bar. I mean that one's kind of funny because Robert England is in the bar too, and they kind of start a fight. But I was like, yeah, let's get back to the hotel. I want to see what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, this one is kind of like the exposition dump kind of
Yeah.
part of the movie because they do run into the sheriff, and like the sheriff, he's not really. He's like, well, these things happen. People run off all the time, so
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And but they do like, they say like which hotel they're staying at. And it's like, oh, old Judd, he's
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 weird.
he's an odd fella. And so that's they go into like the whole history of him and like what he's done around town. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I like this part, like I said, is kind of where the movie slows down because that's where they go through that whole thing. They have the scene in the bar, which is a little funny because they're like intimidating this one guy with glasses, and they're like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you see something you like, what's your problem? Like,
Yeah. Nerd.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they explain like what the relation is, because Buck Robert England shows up to the hotel multiple
Mm-hmm.
times, and I guess he's like a drug dealer or something, or like he's like, or is he the one that got the crocodile? Because
I'm not sure what's going on there.
I think they explained it at some point, but and maybe that was me missing it. But there was some relation between Buck and Judd where it's like they had
Yeah,
like,
they went way back.
yeah, even though Robert England, he's like younger in this movie, but yeah, they're like basically like Robert England had something holding over the Judd's character, and basically like, he got to do whatever he wanted at the property because Judd's like, get out of here! I don't want you here on my property. And Robert England's like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, I already paid for my room, so I'm gonna stay here.
And Robert England brings an underage girl like to the
Yeah.
hotel, and they're gonna do some stuff.
Well, that's one point about this movie. If you're a female, you're in this movie, you're getting naked. Like that was like the common theme, even if it was, because there it makes a little sense, right? Robert England and then they're having sex, so of course. But like the Libby here, there's like a really just like weird scene. She's at the hotel and she just gets naked for the camera. She hears a scream and then she puts her clothes back on. And it's like, literally, what was the point of this other than
Yeah,
just to show some nudity in here?
yeah, like there wasn't enough already in this
Yeah.
movie. Because I mean, they have the brothel scene where it's like naked women everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
they have this scene. They have Buck with the girl; she gets topless too,
Mm-hmm.
and
The woman tied up. Uh, she takes a shower. Um, so yeah.
yeah, lots of that stuff in here. But the rest of this movie kind of goes like the typical slasher route,
Mm-hmm.
where Judd's kind of like he's keeps trying to get the little girl out of the crawl space, and he keeps trying to
Yeah.
do like little things where he tries to get underneath there and scares her a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where he does finally, like, because Buck, at least you think Buck's like some type of monster, but he at least has some kind of morality, I guess, because
Mm-hmm.
he does hear the little girl screaming, and he's just like go down there and it's like, hey, what the hell is all this about? Like, what's going on here? And he does get pushed in there, and Buck gets eaten by the crocodile,
Yeah.
and he tries to chase after. the girl that he was with, but she gets away, I believe. And
Yeah, she gets away. She actually gets in a car and drives off. And not Buck, Judd's like, "Oh God, dag, nabbit." He kind of like jumps around like angry about it. Um,
yeah, and
I want to say I do really like Buck's death scene because he's like holding on to the dock, and the dock just like breaks apart with him like holding on to it. I thought it was well done.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the scene too where Libby's dad or Clara's dad, like their dad, gets murdered, and he
Mm-hmm.
gets a scythe through the neck, and he's at the part, he's got this big scythe blade like going one end out the other of his neck, and he's like still trying to fight Judd like during this whole time.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, and then,
it's your basic stuff, honestly.
it goes into the slasher route, like I said, where it's like they finally get together, and it's pretty much what you expect.
Mm-hmm.
Jed falls into the crocodile, and he gets eaten by
Yep.
them, and the little girl Libby and the mother, like, they escape alive, but with help
Mm-hmm.
from the sheriff, and they're just like totally horrified that this happened, and that's just where the movie ends.
Yeah, it's the 70s. The movie just ends, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just how I like it, but
No. No, and I mean I
it's
surprising.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, surprising. I came out liking this one. I don't think it's like great. It's definitely no Texas Chainsaw. But it kind of has like a fun little style. It's short. And, I don't know.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good time with it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I gave it's a pretty decent movie.
Hmm.
It's like I said, it's short. It's nothing amazing or anything like that. And like I said, if you've seen this one before, if you've seen a slasher movie before, it's probably not going to be anything different that you haven't seen already. But
Mm-mm.
at the same time, you do get a colorful cast of characters. You get some pretty semi interesting performances out of people.
Yeah, yeah.
The mood and the lighting of this movie is probably the best part of this movie for me. And
No, I agree. I love the look of the sets. It has a very unique style, right? With like the very fake places and the very fake lighting. It's really interesting.
yeah, everything looks like it's like set in a dream world, kind of
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
like a nightmare on Elm Street, if you would.
Oh my God, the hints were there the whole time.
But yeah, like I said, pretty decent horror movie. I'd give it a pretty light recommend.
Yeah, same.
It's
Hmm.
I'd say, it's if you're looking for a horror movie you haven't seen, check it out. It won't blow your mind or anything, but I think you'll have a pretty decent time.
Hmm. I agree.
But I'm full. I've eaten
Yeah.
enough.
Whew, yeah, I'm good too.
So we're gonna put the leftovers away into the
Hmm.
fridge, and we're gonna talk about our next movies for next week, which are what, Nathan?
Well, on Tuesday, well, I should say for the whole week, we're back at it again with another week of Bondzilla. Hopefully, we'll see, we'll see. But Bondzilla, and then of course on Tuesday we are talking about the Bond section of that with License to Kill. We're back at it again with Timothy Dalton, and back at it again for the last time, last and only time with Timothy Dalton. That movie is not streaming anywhere, so you will have to rent that one. But Ryan, what are we covering on Thursday?
Normally we've been talking about Godzilla movies, and we'll get back to Godzilla at some point. Don't you worry. But there's one Japanese monster movie that we've been ignoring that we've
Mm-hmm.
mentioned every now and then, but
Mm-hmm.
we're finally going to talk about it. So, for the time being, it's not going to be called Bondzilla anymore, Nathan. It is going to be called Bonmura,
Bonmura. Oh, okay.
because we're going to be talking about 1965's Gamera, the giant monster. And that one is over on Amazon Prime. And I believe you can also see it on PBS, but don't quote me on that. I think you can even find it on YouTube if you look hard enough. So check it out right now and join us on this new series that we're covering.
Nice. I'm excited.
Thank you. But if you got some thoughts and opinions you'd like to email us over at drive-in double feature podcast at gmail.com, don't forget to Follow us on X at DIDFpod. And once again, check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Driving Double Feature Podcast. But until next time.
Until next time.